Happy holidays and seasonal greetings and blah, 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 blah. It's Eric Lucier. Welcome once again to another edition of the Your Trip is Short podcast, recorded on Wednesday, December 14th, 2022, a few days behind. Again, it's Musical Advent Day number 12, this time with a band called King Buffalo. And before I get into them, as I've been browsing for some new music to share, again, I found it increasingly more and more difficult as the days go on to try and find an artist that you have not heard before. And I was going through like Spotify plays this morning on some artists and realizing that when somebody's got 1 million, 2 million, 3 million plays per month, they probably don't need to be shared that much because a lot of people are out there. And I realize that there's a lot of undiscovered artists with few plays a month that do need to be shared. So I've been digging and digging and digging and having a hard time finding that band that's I've been listening to that's worthy of being shared out there, in my opinion. And this band I only discovered because, well, does everybody have that friend or acquaintance that is just such a music head when they share music or pontificate about a certain band, you know that they must be legit? I'm hoping that I am that person for you, but if not, I have one. Denny Cappi, this one is for you. He is the one that mentioned King Buffalo when they were booked for Higher Ground a handful of months ago. I remember going and buying some tickets in advance for some shows and saying, why not throw on a couple of King Buffalo tickets because Denny's raving about them, so they must be good. And if I have a pair of tickets, hopefully I will be inclined to go because one does not want to waste tickets. I mean, worst case scenario, the band gets a cut out of the door ticket sales, and they'll at least be rewarded for my attendance even if I'm not there. But of course I'm going to go out of my way to not eat a pair of tickets in 2022 with some hard-earned money. So that did get me out of the house. Brought my buddy Scott in tow to see Rochester power rock psych trio King Buffalo a few months ago, and I had never heard of these guys before Denny had talked about them, but listened to him a little bit beforehand and thought, well, it's not really my speed in 2022, but I'll give it a whirl anyhow. Kind of a stoner metal, if you will. And back in my heyday, I used to listen to a little bit of that. Monster Magnet coming to mind. And usually the vocals and the lyrics aren't really my cup of tea, but the music certainly is. And some of the recordings I found could be a little, long-winded, so the vocals not my speed with King Buffalo, but once I saw them live, oh boy, was quite blown away by these guys. Just a traditional power trio, guitar, bass, and drums, but all three of them just incredible at doing what they do. Odd time signatures, some incredible bass and filters with the bass. Remind me a little bit of Geddy Lee and some of his playing, of course, Geddy Lee of Rush. But the lead guitarist, and Sean McVeigh is his name, an unfortunate name to have. And if you're unfamiliar with the name Sean McVeigh, just Google that and see what comes up. But vocalist guitarist Sean McVeigh leads the way, and he can play guitar, and there's a lot of just incredible lead solos that he takes part in the recordings and also on stage. And they've been touring the nation as of late, and was quite blown away with a crowd that I saw at Higher Ground. And they've been posting a lot of pictures on their Instagram of the crowds as of late. And well, there's a lot of people going to see their shows, playing the probably proper size rooms, anywhere from a few hundred to probably 500 to 700, but packing them in wherever they've been as of late. And deservedly so, they are filling the houses. Great stuff from King Buffalo. They released a brand new album this past year called Regenerator, and we've got a couple of tracks that you're going to be hearing here. And some of the tracks are rather long, 6, 7, 8, 10 minutes long. Long guitar solos, some interesting introductions, a lot of great sounds, great headphoned band to have out there for late at night, perhaps with a little bit of intoxication in you. And unfortunately, what I need to do is really blabber on to make sure that I'm filling my allotment and make sure the Spotify does not reject this introduction as they have done a few times over. I'm finding this out after the fact, after I've already posted my original introduction to YouTube. So I'm hoping I get this out of the way because I really want to turn this over to the music. That's been what Your Trip is Short has been about since day one. It's not about my talking. It's about the music that I'm sharing. So I'm hoping that I have appeased the Spotify god or gods or bot or AI or whatever it is that's auditing the introductions, because I really want to turn it over to Rochester, New York power trio King Buffalo here on Your Trip is Short. So for episode number 89, Musical Advent Day 12, a power trio that really needs to be seen to be believed, but definitely check them out with their studio releases here on my Musical Advent Day number 12. I'm Eric Lucier. It's King Buffalo, episode 89. Your Trip is Short.